call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, and it is the regular city council meeting for the city of Algonac. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Mathis.
Here.
Councilman Blair.
Are you kidding? I'm here, we've not missed tonight at all.
Councilman Gillis.
Here with hair.
Councilwoman Harris.
Here.
Councilman Martin. Councilman Scarback.
Here.
Mayor Stillbergen. Here. Quorum present.
At this time, will everyone please take a moment of silent prayer? Will everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, first up, we have presentations, and we have two presentations tonight. The first one is St. Clair County Sheriff King. Matt King is here with us tonight to give us an overview of the sheriff's office and accomplishments made over the past year. Sheriff?
Hello, if you don't mind, I'm gonna turn this because I don't wanna have my back to everybody. First of all, thank you to the board and everybody's patience for having me here tonight. I'll try to make this quick while still getting some good information out, and obviously I'll be open to any questions at the end. I wanted to come in to talk a little bit about what has gone on at the sheriff's office through 2020, and also highlight some accomplishments we've made in the first year of my first term. My name's Matt King. I'm the sheriff here in St. Clair County. I think I know most of the faces here, and met a lot of you. And just a quick little bit about myself. I've lived in St. Clair County my whole life except for 2 years. 1 year out of high school, I was hired and moved down to Detroit to be a Detroit police officer. And then 2 years to the day of my hiring there, I got hired by the sheriff's office, and I've been here 23 years. My previous position before becoming sheriff was the road patrol captain. I held that position for 3 years, 3.5 years. So obviously quite familiar with the community and the office of the sheriff. And in the last year, since November of 2020, I was appointed your sheriff after being elected. So Sheriff Tim Donlin left a couple months early, but he left after the election, and I was already duly elected. So it was a natural bump to have me take over for a couple months till my first term began. So enough about myself. I wanted to highlight some things that we've been dealing with over the last year at the sheriff's office, and again, some highlights of some changes and improvements, as I like to say. I don't want to go through all the numbers. Hopefully you're all able to grab the brochure. I could kill you with statistics and numbers, but I want to highlight a few and explain a few things that have gone on here at the sheriff's office. In 2020, as far as our road patrol goes, we took approximately 40,000 calls for service. That was down quite a bit, and again, I'm going to use the word that nobody likes to say out loud, COVID. Once COVID hit, we really changed how we did things with our road patrol and inside of our jail, and I'll talk to that in a minute. But our road patrol, we had to try to prioritize what we responded to in the police action we took. We really kind of, especially early on, amped out our traffic stops and contacts because we didn't know how contagious and dangerous the virus was. We knew that no matter what, we had to maintain services throughout the county, inside and outside our jail, and to be able to do that, we had to have a team of deputies that were obviously not sick, right? So the more contact we had with the public, the more chances we were to have to catch the virus. We didn't really know how survivable the virus was, especially early on. So we had the deputies take some calls over the phone, and obviously not as many traffic stops. So that allows for the lower number of calls for service. I could go on and on about that, but I'm sure you all understand, because you all lived it in one form or another. So a little bit about the road patrol, other than obviously the deputies that most people see in uniform, every day, we have a lot of specialty groups as well. We have a accident investigator, team that is actually very well respected throughout the state. We're called upon from other agencies throughout the county and sometimes outside of the county to assist them in bad accidents. We have a great team that are very well trained and have a lot of good tools. Obviously, our drug task force, who obviously concentrate on narcotics dealing and narcotic sales in the county. We have a K-9 that does drug tracking and tracking for people or lost people out in the woods. Commercial motor vehicle, important couple of deputies there that really make sure that the big vehicles driving around our county are safe. We have good relationships with the company owners, so we can get ahead of problems before we have to take too much enforcement action, but sometimes that's the only way to make sure that those big heavy trucks are being operated safely in our communities. You may remember about a decade or so, we used to get those overturned semi trucks, the garbage haulers from Canada. Well, we saw a problem, and it was becoming more and more prevalent. And at that point, the commercial motor vehicle team was put together, and I don't remember last time I saw an overturned garbage truck. That's because they learned through ticketing and other educational ways from our commercial motor vehicles that they had to travel through our community safely. So that's an important piece that you probably don't see out there all that often. We have a cybercrime unit, special response team, like I said, negotiators. We also have obviously the Detective Bureau and many other groups in our agency that specialize in different crimes. We maintain police service contracts with obviously the city of Algonac, East China, China Township, Fort Gratiot Township, Fort Huron Township. Also have contracted services through Anchor Bay School District, Port Huron Area School District, and we just added a Memphis School District liaison officer, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Down to our drug task force, I spoke on them earlier. They really, their numbers were really low last year compared to normal, and they're really high this year because they hit the ground running this year. Again, I won't belabor you with all these statistics, but 34 search warrants is certainly about a third of what we usually do as far as search warrants in the drug task force. The reason for that is we stopped and we realized obviously with COVID-19, we really had to look outside the box. We talked to our drug task force officers, initially told them, hey, concentrate on your big cases. Don't turn a blind eye to things, but we need to figure some things out. And then we realized, you know what, the drug task force deputies could be used as our bench. So if we had a whole shift go down or several people on each shift go down and we don't have enough manpower to have deputies out on the road taking calls, we'd have this bench over here, and their office is totally separated from the sheriff's office in a secret location for obvious reasons because they do undercover work. But it was to our benefit because those deputies weren't coming in contact with the other couple hundred employees we have at the sheriff's office. Thankfully, we didn't have to call on them for that. We did very well with our employees and our jail population as far as infection with COVID-19, but that was the plan, and that's really why we slowed down in a very calculated way. But if you see in the statistics, you'll still see that over 2,600 grams of methamphetamine was taken off the street. So they really targeted the bigger cases to make the biggest impact with as little interaction with the public. Our dive team, 29-member team, almost all volunteer. They pretty much don't get paid anything. And again, due to the amount of water we have here, the professionals we've had on our team for so long, just an extremely well-respected team that helps other communities throughout the county and outside the county. We're very proud of the work they do, and especially they do a lot of fundraising and buy a lot of this very expensive, highly technical equipment on their own, and we just can't be proud enough. A group of folks that just want to help, just want to be a part of the solution and really designate a lot of their own time. They had 35 call-outs in 2020, including 4 drowning recovery operations and several other searches for evidentiary things and such. And obviously worked all of the large boat, like down here at Algonac, when you guys have your pickerel festival, they've got boats in the water in case something happens, so they're there. And you know, obviously the plan is to rescue, not to recover. Our Marine Division, again, another group of deputies that they work a lot, they get paid but very little, they all have regular jobs. Part of the deal, if you're gonna be on the Marine Division, is you gotta work at least one weekend a month. And you know, when you're already working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and you're coming in for minimal pay to work you know, Marine Patrol. That just shows the character that we have on our Marine Division. They're folks that are all but donating their time and their most precious time, right? Their time away from their family on their weekends in the summertime. We all love our weekends in the summertime. 3,100 hours of patrol in 2020. 2021, we're able to up that. We put in for, we're awarded a grant, and that was specifically to target no-wake areas because of the high waters. We heard the calls, and we know the problems with the high waters. We got a little bit of a break this year, and then really wet fall, so we'll see what winter brings us. But we upped our number of hours patrolled in the no-wake areas because of the high water areas. And again, we were aggressive and got that grant money. Obviously, they work all kinds of different events as well. The Mackinac Race, the Float Down, Jobby Nooner, Pickerel Festival, and many other ones. We're proud of the work they do. The corrections facility, now this is a group of men and women that work very hard every single day, and they don't get much glamour, right? You don't see too many articles in the paper about what the corrections deputies have done. Once in a while, you get an article about a life-saving award, but really, frankly, if there's an article about a jail, usually it's bad news. And but they do very hard work, very difficult work. You know, when I talk to the deputies back there, I always explain to them how much I appreciate their work, because I grew up on the road patrol side, right? I never worked in the jail. Now, my brother is a deputy with us, and he worked in the jail before he came over. We have a lot of crossovers, and they do a great job because they know how to talk to the inmate population and talk to that population when they're out on the streets. But when you work in the road patrol, really most of your day are dealing with good folks. And that's what we love about St. Clair County, right? We always say most people in St. Clair County are great people. And it may sound kind of morbid, but in law enforcement, there's just enough crime to make it a really good job, because we still want to be stimulated and work hard. But our interaction with the folks that need to go to jail, you know, they're plenty, and it's dangerous. I'm not downplaying what the road patrol does, but the jail deputies, that's all they deal with all day, every day. And then put it in a context, right now our population is down, but the folks that are in there are the folks that really need to be in there, because during COVID, there were some laws enacted, passed down from the governor, and then some cooperation with other law enforcement agencies and the courts to lower our population so that population could be more easily managed through COVID-19. So the people in there in our jails, and the numbers are creeping back up. Our facility holds 491 inmates. We have somewhere almost 400 now, but it got down to about 250 at one point. That being said, again, that 250 were the folks that you don't ever turn your back on, right? So they have a difficult job, and they did a tremendous job through COVID-19. So to paint a quick picture, if you were to arrest me today and you're booked into our facility, you're gonna be quarantined with people that are arrested that day. Now that's that little group, obviously by gender. And if there's 6 people arrested today, you're gonna be in an area together until your COVID-19 tests come back. And at that point, you're gonna be put in the proper facility according to what crime in your criminal history, proper part of our facility, I should say. So what that does is it really jams up parts of our jail that we usually can move people around and house people. When people act out in jail, inmates and detainees, they're put on punishment. They may be put in a room by themselves for X amount of time, 5 days if they started a fight, for instance. And then they don't have access to certain things like commissary and other luxuries in jail as a punishment to try to keep the peace and keep order in the jail. Well, it's difficult to do that right now because every space is used up, and if we get a few people sick, they need to go in an area by themselves so they don't get everybody else sick. So the jail and the corrections deputies and sergeants and lieutenants really had to be very, very creative in how we handle this. There's never been a rule book on how do we handle a pandemic in a jail facility. We're still dealing with that today. You know, I'm fully vaccinated, and people have their own choice, and I support people having their own choice, but you know, we're all walking around for the most part without masks and kind of moving on with our life, and we make our own decision. We're back in the jail. It's like month 1 of COVID-19, because it is under the same rules, under CDC guidelines. The amount of stress and strain that the jail deputies have been on it and still coming to work every day and not complaining, I'm very proud of. In the jail also, we have a lot of programs. Our philosophy at the intervention center is we want the people that come into our facility to leave better. We wanna put the tools in their hands and the programs in front of them, so they have a chance to not have recidivism. Obviously, when they leave, it's up to them, they have to make their choices. But if they've never shown a different way or given a tool, or shown a program that could better them, perhaps that might be the only time they were shown another way. Right? We don't know why they're in our jail always, what their history is, but we have them, we have a captive audience. One of the things we did with that captive audience, well, I'll talk about that in a little bit, it'll be more about the accomplishments in 2021, but we offer them several programs that really give them the opportunity to grow. They can earn their GED, they can participate, and sometimes part of their sentencing is to participate in our residential substance abuse treatment program. And that has helped many people shorten their sentence, get back out, and hopefully follow through with these services that we get them in contact with when they leave. And it also has saved a lot of money for the jail, because every night somebody doesn't spend in jail, the taxpayers are spending to house them, right? There's many other programs like the Medical Assistant Treatment Program. This program combines medical attention and medications along with professional counseling to help people get off addictions. Usually alcohol or opioids are more traditionally able to be helped with medication. And again, we're not just giving them a medication, that doesn't work. It's gotta be coupled with counseling and life skills building. And there's many other programs in the jail. I just had a interview with Laura Fitzgerald from the Times-Herald, and the list was this long, so I'd be here another half hour to talk about the programs, but we do put a lot of effort forth to make sure that people leave with the opportunity to be better. Obviously, it's their choice at that point. So some of the accomplishments since November 2020, like I said, you know, I've been at the sheriff's office 23 years. I've been in administration for 3.5 before taking sheriff, so 4.5 now. So I've been a part of, you know, operational plans and things that have been going on at the sheriff's department. And when I took over, obviously I thought things were probably running pretty well because I was there helping, but I didn't want to, you know, just come in and start shifting things around. Any time I have ever been promoted, I've always thought three things. One, every promotion comes with less freedom. Number two, more responsibility. And three, sit back and watch for a minute before you start mixing the bowl, right? So we really didn't start doing anything too drastic, but we had some things in mind, and we settled into these probably 4 months of me being into office. But one that we were doing in 2020, and it went over to 2021, was the COVID-19 vaccine. We had clinics in the jail, and we were able to get 135 inmates vaccinated in the first round, and I think another 75 in the second round. Now we offer it upon your entrance to the jail. So if you're booked in, we offer you the vaccine. Again, it's everyone's choice, but it's there. We have the ability to vaccinate people right in our facility. That sounds simple because we have medical on staff, but it was much more difficult than I have time to explain because of CDC rules and the special freezer and many other lots of other red tape, but we're proud that we offer that. One of the things that we did enact, and again, I don't take all the credit for these. I have a great team and work well with the deputies union to get some of these things done, but body worn cameras was one that we started in 2021. Big project. We had looked at them in the past. We looked at it and wanted to see how the programs were rolling out, right? If Ford comes out with a brand new model car, you probably don't want to buy it the first year, right? You want to buy it about 5 years later when they've worked out the kinks in engineering and things. And we also wanted to see how other agencies were doing with these. And then the other part was finance. The cameras themselves are expensive enough, but they're not the expensive part. It's the storage of the data. And the storage of the data is so expensive. You imagine every time you see a deputy and he has an interaction with a community member or anybody out there who wants to talk to him about a law enforcement topic, there's a lot of deputies out there, there's a lot of video captured. So we had to come up with funds to make sure we could fund it. But the body worn cameras are out there. We went with Axon, which is a great company. That is coupled with our in-car cameras. So we got all new in-car cameras. And it's great technology because the deputy Spence back there has got his on right now, and I can assure you it's not on. So if you're wondering, there's a policy written to just to make it realistic. Okay, so if a deputy comes in contact with another deputy, and they're chit-chatting, or they're not on a call, they don't have to turn it on. Matter of fact, they're not supposed to turn it on. Two people should be able to talk and have a conversation without worrying about being recorded all the time. But a law enforcement interaction with the public, they're gonna be recorded, right? So when I say a law enforcement action, if I'm at the gas station, I need a cup of coffee, and the clerk says, hey, how you doing? That's not a law enforcement action. If the guy across the store wants to chit chat about the weather, that's two people talking, the cameras aren't gonna be on. Now if the guy starts raising a stink or becomes a law enforcement, they're gonna tap it and turn it on. And then at that point, it's time stamped and it's connected to that complaint number. So what I'm getting at with the in-car cameras and the body worn cameras, they can all be connected. So Deputy Spence has got his camera on and he calls for help, his in-car camera is probably turned on. And when the other cars show up, that in-car camera and that body worn camera can all be linked to the same complaint number. So when we want to review the incident, we can punch in the complaint number and all the cameras will come up on the video and be a split screen and see what was going on at different angles, and of course different times depending on when everybody showed up. Great for evidence collection. It's great for training. Somebody does something, we think they should be reviewed. We can look at it and learn from it, right? And it's great to keep our deputies accountable and keep our public accountable. Our first call that was related to a body worn camera was somebody who complained about a traffic stop. Now you can imagine the sheriff trying to convince your deputies, hey, this is a good thing for everybody, because I was a deputy once too, and I probably wouldn't have loved having them in my early years. As I got older, I understood. But trying to convince them, like, hey, we're not trying to be big brother watching. We want to protect everybody, the public and the deputies. And the first call was a complaint on a deputy, and without getting into it, it was pretty preposterous. We watched the video, called the complainant up and said, hey, we got video now, we got in-car, or we got the body worn cameras. And the complainant said, thank you, hung up the phone. So I mean, kind of proved the point. So it's really good, again, for collection of evidence and court purposes as well. Court video booths. With COVID-19, and we had the inmate population and detainee population going in and out of our jail, the courts and back and forth to other facilities, or just seeing your lawyer to get prepped for court, all these things that we have to allot them and provide them, every time came an exposure, right? Not necessarily COVID exposure, but exposure from outside. You can imagine, 300 to 400 people in an enclosed place where all the food's getting shipped out from inside and all the deputies are moving around and just everything is kind of shared, even though we did extra cleaning and everything. We needed to limit our amount of exposure of people leaving and coming. So we came up with, we had one Polycom system for video arraignments, and we came up with 5, and then we came up with what we call the phone booths, which are basically repurposed phone booths with screens that inmates can talk to their attorneys about their case, and really limited the amount of in and out we have in our facility. Great technology that we can use, not just during COVID, but continue on, because every time we have somebody leave our facility, we have potential for an assault, a car accident, an attempt escape, or contraband coming or going from our facility. So if we can limit that within reason, it's a smart thing to do. Obviously, we have trials and important court cases that they have to go, and we'll make sure they're there. We're proud to say that we've had 4 different counties, either the sheriff or the undersheriff came and looked at our facility as a model. So we're looked at as by other counties as people who thought outside the box, come up with some really good solutions to problems. Facility cameras, we upgraded our facility cameras. Believe it or not, when that jail was built, it was analog cameras, and the quality was not very good. To the point where if there was a fight, it might have been captured on video, but you might not really be able to tell who was involved. Obviously, with digital cameras now, we can read the nameplate on deputies' tags and see who's doing what where, and there's less blind spots, and it's really a big upgrade. Enhancement and training. In law enforcement, if there's a problem, if there's a lawsuit, if there's some misconduct or somebody says there's misconduct, it oftentimes comes back to your policies and your training and how often the deputies are exposed to the policies. Without a good tracking program or a program other than your bi-yearly training, it's really hard to ever have enough training. And we saw a need there, and we signed up with Lexipol and Police One. They work together in tandem to very well-respected training and policy and procedure programs throughout the country. Enhance the training allows continued service to our public, so the deputies can come in, log out of the computers right in the car, go on to the Lexipol or the Police One website, watch a video, it'll be connected to a certain policy, it'll log that that deputy was just updated on this policy with this training, and it's just a terrific tool to track the training that we have going on. We're the largest law enforcement agency in the county, and the 16th largest law enforcement agency in the state, believe it or not, because they take into account our jail employees. That's a lot of people to keep track and a lot of training to keep track of. And we realized we needed to get a little bit more technically advanced with this, so we're proud of getting that into play. Again, all those things I listed really were awesome work done by our undersheriff, our captain, lieutenants and sergeants, and our jail administrator. The last part, well, the second to last part, the employee wellness program, something near to my heart. I've always kind of been attuned to employee wellness and overall wellness for people to live healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And those are the parts that are covered under the umbrella of the employee wellness program. I went to the National Academy in Quantico, Virginia, and took a couple classes, and one really talked about employee wellness, and hit home on the strain that law enforcement has, and the things that law enforcement professionals see on a day-to-day basis, and how it affects them differently than everybody else's job, right? Everybody in this room has a job, and your job's unique to you, and I'm sure you have some stresses, or maybe physically, emotionally, or both, and that's unique to your profession. Well, in law enforcement, there's been probably about 20 years of a lot of intense look at what happens to a law enforcement officer through his years of service, what they see, how that affects them mentally, how that affects them on the job and off the job. I remember when I started in Detroit 25 years ago, I was working with guys that were Vietnam era people, right? They got to Vietnam, and they were working as police officers the last few years, and suck it up, let our company get back to work. I'm a little old-fashioned that way too. I'm like, okay, that's tough, you gotta get back to work, but with the information we've gained over the last 20 years, that comes with responsibility to act and do something about it. I can remember tough cases and calls that I've been on throughout my long career, and frankly, the last 10 years of my career has been in some type of supervision or administration. We have deputies that spend much more time taking those calls, and that takes a toll on their mind. It also takes a toll on them physically. And we wanted to create a program to give tools. Eventually we'll be on an app so people can reach out for help on any of those topics, and it could be anonymous. We'll never know if they got help or not. We hope they do. And they get peer support, professional support, and then dietary, physical fitness stuff, financial guidance, and spiritual guidance. All things that I feel that are very important. The next dot down is exterior vest. We got a very smart sergeant in our agency, so hey, the sheriff's putting together a wellness program, and we've been trying to get these exterior vest carriers, and they keep saying no, but maybe if we tie the two together, he's gonna have to say yes. Well, he's a smart guy, and he came to me with a PowerPoint presentation. Pretty old-fashioned. I like the old-fashioned uniforms. I want people to look at us as professional. You see, we've got beards. This is for No Shave November. December 1st, they'll be shaving. I'm old-fashioned that way. But this sergeant came to me with a great PowerPoint. There were studies attached. He did a study. He talked to another professional on the other side of the state who had a whole presentation. And if you don't mind standing up, Deputy Spence, those are exterior vest carriers. As you can see, there, other than a couple extra things on his shirt, it looks like the same uniform as I got on. I don't have my exterior vest carrier on. Thanks, because it's a good model, but I don't want to make it a lot.
It takes the weight off the hips and puts it on the shoulder.
Yes, it takes the weight off the hips. There are so many studies of deputies having bad hips and bad knees because of all this weight, right? Frankly, when I'm in my office, I don't have this big heavy thing on all day. Well, the deputies do, in a seated position, standing position, running position. The other day it was raining, I was going to the courthouse. Been a long time since I ran with this on, it was very uncomfortable. It wears you down physically. So if you know that, and there's a better alternative, comes a responsibility to do something about it. So you'll see the body, or the vest carriers on the deputies. I already covered the No Shave November, again, this will be gone December 1st, I'm old fashioned that way. He asked how much, so what the deal is we, $1 a day to not have to shave, $30 obviously for the month, and we have a charity that we raise the money for. November's, Prostate Awareness, Month, or Men's Health Awareness Month, depends how you look at it, and, that's our way of giving back this month, or this year, we're giving our money to, the YMCA. Curtis wanted to know how much more it would be to go ahead and wear it in December, and I had a smart aleck answer for him, I won't hold, but basically, we're shaving December 1st. And then again, the last accomplishment was we added another deputy, school liaison deputy for the Memphis School District. Memphis is half in St. Clair County and half in Macomb County, as most people know. I've always looked at it as a St. Clair County community. Obviously, I talked to the Memphis chief and the Chief Sheriff Wickersham from Macomb County, they're all very supportive of this. I hope I didn't take too long. I tried to get through it with highlighting information. I know we have a lot to do and more exciting things to do, like watch people get the head shaved. I've never been to a meeting before with the drop cloth, so it's a first for me. I'm glad it's for this reason. But if there's any questions, I'd love to answer them. If you have questions you don't want to ask in front of everybody, obviously you know where to reach me at the sheriff's office.
We could have timed this to have it at the end of November, or on December 1st, and had all the deputies come in and get shaved.
That would
you
be
know?
great, yes.
Mayor, I just want to make sure that No Shave November doesn't include their hair today.
Actually, I just signed up.
Matt, if I could,
Yes.
Mayor, I just want to comment that you guys do a fabulous job for our city. I'm glad that you guys are here, and we couldn't ask for a better sheriff's department than what I believe we have in St. Clair County.
Well, thanks, and I got that comment last night at the East China Township meeting, and I'll follow up the way I always do. Law enforcement in this county knows how good we have it, and it's because of the support we have of our public that make our job a very enjoyable job, difficult sometimes, but very enjoyable. I know people throughout the state and throughout the country that do not get that support, and I can't tell you enough how much it means to us to have the support we do. It's a difficult job enough, but when we have people who support us, and every time an unfortunate incident happens in some other state, I'll get a call from my brother and say, guess what, I can't buy lunch again, because every time he hits a drive-through, somebody in front of him buys that. You don't always hear it. I think we hear how much we're appreciated, more than you all hear it, but we appreciate the support. We're not perfect. If there's mistakes, we will fix them. But the ongoing support makes our job very fulfilling, and that's what we all signed up for. We want to help people, so thank you all for being supportive, and I appreciate your comments.
I just want to say I appreciate all this information you gave us tonight. Very important for us to know, we're contracting your services, and to know where you're headed and what you're doing, and I'm proud to say I've known you quite a while, and you're doing a great job.
I'm a better sheriff than I was a student, I promise. Not that the bar's that high for going to my student time.
He's dating you, Councilman.
I'm only 30 years old. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Well, I wonder if we can top that. What can we do that was totally different than we've ever done before?
We ready?
All right,
I was told there's gonna be a beer tent here.
If you haven't already heard, about our Garland and Bowes fundraiser, Algonac Alive has tried to raise $10,000 in a very short amount of time. And they did it with the help of two gentlemen sitting at the table with me, my two colleagues, Mayor Pro Tem Bembas and Councilman Gillis. And they agreed to have their heads shaved if we came up with the $10,000. Well, lo and behold, people probably wouldn't have donated that much money if it wasn't for that little incentive. And they've raised enough money for us, or added to it, to have 2,800 feet of garland and 100 bows that you'll see out at Christmas time, and it'll last for a long time. It's all commercial grade. And doing the honors tonight are two wonderful women that opened businesses in Elginak. We have with us today Ann Trippy, who is the owner of Annie's Cut and Curls, located at 1401 St. Clair Boulevard, and Marie Coleman, who is the owner of the Lily Rose Color Bar Salon, located at 502 Michigan. Ladies, are you ready to do the honors?
Let's do it.
All right, gentlemen,
I was gonna videotape, I'm not coming down.
sit in your seat. Mrs. Kirsten, wait, we don't know. Her coming around, we wanna see the faces on these guys. I wanna see them.
Before and after.
Yeah, we get it before and after.
I'm gonna go in the audience and watch this.
Just a little off the top.
Take it off, take it off.
Jill's never been in there. Do what?
Yeah,
Take it slow. What's that? Just take it slow.
yeah, that's a lot of hair there.
Two ratings on the same phone?
Oh,
And Mary's birthday too. Happy birthday, Mary.
Happy birthday. Yes, it's my wife's birthday.
Okay, guys, just breathe, okay?
Mike, does your wife know yet?
No.
Oh, Mike. She's gonna be really upset. Yeah, she.
My son said he doesn't want to look at me when I get home. Yeah, he's, I don't want to look at you when you get home, Daddy.
No, he's practicing for when he's 16 then, because he's gonna be like that then.
I thought maybe you'd bring him with you.
Mike, are you in pain? You look like you're in pain, Michael. Oh, no.
He's thinking about how much fun it is going home.
They might still trying to figure out, did I actually say I was gonna do this?
The money I'm gonna save on haircuts for a while.
And I know his wife. Mike, you had lunch.
People like that.
I think my next haircut's will be a disappointment without commentary.
Well, just give us all a call, we'll show up. Where's
His wife's gonna be.
Nobody's got no mic.
There might be a 911 call.
That's a whole other story.
Michael Goatee's and Kate and Rocky was funny.
Rocky, you look like the little toddler who's getting his first haircut.
I'm so proud. Are you proud of me now, Mayor? Are you proud of me, Mayor? Can I get a sucker afterwards, Mayor?
You got it.
Oh, I'm fine. You left a little bit, I wouldn't be upset.
I will be.
Well worth it.
Well, you gotta enjoy the service, Rocky.
It's the trailer park. And 29 stuff is
Oh, yeah. They're constantly looking for guys who can't run. Out of shape dad, with dad, out of shape dad bods. Oh, okay, now that.
Well, they gotta be good, though. They don't get it.
I think Rocky was short on my.
You know what? If we need to raise 7 more thousand, I'll do this again.
My price is 25,000.
I saw that boat you had on, online that you wanna buy.
They have a Chris Craft,
Put a diamond in the
Order.
ride.
Or the little ride-on one, like the pony at Meyer, only it's a boat.
It's still-
so cool.
it's still for sale for last time we checked, it was 15,000.
Now, I think one person we do have to blame is Amy Emils, cause when she heard of the wager, she started calling everybody this side of the Mississippi River to get money.
Oh my gosh.
Probably look younger.
Well, she also had a backup plan, if people wouldn't donate, she
Right.
was gonna
She was
go
gonna
around.
donate.
Yeah.
She's happy no matter what.
But, you know, the nice thing is, it's, everybody in Algonac got together. And I know in the past, we've used, the city has used red garbage bags to make bows and things like that. That's kind of a fun thing to do where, the city got together, saw a need, and everybody worked. $10,000 is a lot of money.
Well, so many people wanted to donate,
Right.
their garland and their bows and things, but we knew we needed commercial, because the last time it was things that were made for your home, and
Right.
we get a lot of wind up there on the river, and so we knew we need, to have it last, we didn't want it to fall apart too quickly, so.
And just cut off the grays.
If anybody has a colic, just leave it. you know.
That's me. I got 2 of them.
Any family pictures coming up soon for you too?
Halloween's over.
Yeah.
I know, we had
Doesn't
good
matter.
time. I know now at work.
Oh, I'm fine. No. It's not. It's just Eric. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mike, should I send this to Jill so she gets a warning?
I heard your suitcases are out on the front porch.
I know if I step on a scale tomorrow, I'm sure she'll have off the counter too.
Now, these were the old bows, and if you notice behind them are the new bows. And we were grateful for the offers, but we just knew we needed something that was gonna be sustainable, last for a long time.
Oh, don't worry about it.
A couple years, they had a
No, he's the one we gotta do the psych on. That might actually already be done. I'm sorry.
Are we getting colored too, or no?
What color you want?
On gray?
I'm great. Rocky is downhill from here with the grape.
You look much younger.
Detroit, you wanna get out? I didn't. I can tell you that.
Whatever you want.
Come on, yeah, they deserve a good one.
Was that
Very
it?
good, gentlemen. Yeah.
Well, Mike's going close now.
That's really loud.
Well, Mike, we're twinsies.
Mike, all the way.
He takes the photo.
Oh, with your drum here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Brother's grim.
Sisters, he's there.
Joe?
We should go out and buy matching clothes, Mike.
Yeah, really?
You ready for that ready?
We started to, but we kind of stopped when we told us it was weird.
That would be cute.
You got a little bald spot on the back of your head now.
I've never had it this short.
What do you have to buy skin?
Cool now.
I know.
I wanna see those sticks tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you try to get it
Why I
in the
brought my
house.
hat.
Can you go
How
Facebook
long are you
Live?
gonna try to hide it?
Can you go Facebook Live when you get home?
You're dark inside my house apparently.
You know, we took down all the Halloween stuff, and we forgot how bright that house is.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We haven't decided. Yeah, we were not. We're thinking of just old school Halloween.
I tried to do,
Yeah, but we're kinda arguing about what it's gonna be where.
I was thinking, getting the kids, my kids are small. And they go to, take my kids from school. I have people that try, how's it going? And then they look at me like I'm delusional. Oh, okay, yeah, I can see in their eyes, like, he doesn't even look at us.
Okay, thank you.
You guys wanna stand up next to each other?
All right, yes, good idea. Good idea, Cory.
You guys are such good boys.
Oh,
thanks.
Oh, sign right now.
We did.
Rocky, you might go down next to
Okay, come on, buddy.
And I'm gonna do this.
You guys are good. Sit down in your chairs.
Okay, no, you're gonna.
No,
Now people are gonna go up to you and do this.
I know.
You guys gotta get in the picture.
In the picture.
Oh, you got a sucker?
We got a sucker.
I feel like Curly Howard.
Oh, can't see Mayor.
You never can.
Can't move a little bit that way. Okay, ready? All right, cheese. Got it.
Thank you, lady.
Oh, thank you so much, Ian and Marie.
You're a lot of credit, man.
Yes, thank you so much for asking us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's cold in here.
There's a draft.
Hey, great job, guys, seriously. Give you guys a lot of credit for that, for sure.
Yeah, one more round of applause for the hairdressers and the And I don't think it should be another haircut. We're gonna up the ante somehow. I don't know. Maybe no eyebrows.
I won't do that. I will not do that. Do that.
Maybe it might-
It can't be 4,000 or 24,000, it has to be 25,000.
But what if it comes at 360?
All colored.
So you heard it here tonight, folks. We've got 2 more councilmen on board for 25 grand next
It
year.
has to be 25,000 or I'm not cutting it.
We'll add lighting to the Darling.
Well, it's gotta be 25 grand in Kim's approval.
Oh, well, never mind. We'll figure
Yeah,
something else. All right, that was delightful, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And you didn't have to do it. You're such good sports.
Absolutely, they are, for
We
sure.
didn't have to do that?
Well, once you said it, everybody just caught right on, and that was it. All right, now on with the rest of our meeting. It's time for public comments. Just to remind you to state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes to speak. And if you come to the podium, if you have something to say, come on up and you address the council. We will not be making any comments, but we listen very carefully and we enjoy and appreciate hearing from everyone. Anyone want to speak?
I will, real quick. Do I have to go up there? I just wanna thank you guys for everything you do, because I know I see you around the hair salon, like parked over there and checking out the school, cause there's been a lot of activity at the school, and thank you guys so much. Appreciate you, what you do.
Annie's correct. There is a lot of activity over at the
Oh, my-
elementary school,
Yes.
and we do appreciate them being there. Anyone else? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Cindy Smith, 927 Gulfview. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to top that, I don't want to. I just have some, I guess, concerns, you know, we were okay when they came out and you're allowing golf carts and, off-road vehicles to be on the roads. I don't mind that, but I think the ordinance needs to be abided by. My daughter who's learning to drive and my husband driving down the road, so obviously it was a slower moving vehicle. They were on a 40-mile-an-hour road, so she passed them. Gets to Kroger parking lot, and when this lady then catches up to them, starts to harass her and yelling and screaming at my 15-year-old daughter and my husband for doing what they were in their legal right to do. It was a 40-mile-an-hour road. You're only supposed to be on a 30-mile-an-hour road with golf carts or any of the off-road vehicles. I don't know what can be done to make sure that, it's enforced. I think it would be a good idea, and revenue for the city, if we started charging an annual fee, and they have to have a sticker on the vehicle, and we know that they're abiding by the rules, they know what they are. Cause apparently, when I posted on Facebook about this, asking what the ordinances were, it's apparent most people don't know what they are. They couldn't come out and say they could drive here, they could drive there, they could do this or that. People just don't know. I think it came out and all they heard was, we can ride them on the road without any other, not realizing what they could do. You have to be at least 16 years old. I can't tell you how many times I've seen younger kids on golf carts or these other mopeds or whatever almost blow through a stop sign right into traffic as I'm going by. I think majority don't even have the rear reflector on the back of their golf carts. And like I said, it's not here so much, but Clay Township, I don't think any of them can really be abiding by the 30-mile-an-hour, because most of the roads are higher than that. Driving 1.5 hours before dusk and a half hour after sunrise. Just the other day, dropping my daughter off at school at 7 in the morning, we all know it's still dark out, and these vehicles are on the road with no lights. It's just a matter of time before something happens, and somebody's gonna be seriously injured or killed because they are not following the rules. And I know at our house, we could sit there at times, on the weekends especially, and sit and listen to them racing up and down the roads. That was one comment that somebody posted. They've seen them, they're racing their little vehicles up and down, and, like I said, it's just a matter of time. So I'm hoping there's something that we can do to have these enforced, and like I said, maybe have them have some annual stickers every year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak?
Scott Frank, 1957 St. Clair Boulevard, and I don't believe I'm the only person that's having trouble with the blight officer. And I have, I guess, notice after notice of threats. I believe she's stalking me, going down, videotaping my house, going by, and something needs to be done about that. And also, some of the ordinances, I believe, needs to be changed. I was trying to look up some of the ordinance that Lori Warner has put on here, and in my opinion, she doesn't know how to count, because I have the allotted number of recreational vehicles on my property, and she's saying that I still have to get rid of more, which my properties are my liberty, that I don't have to get rid of any of my liberties over an ordinance. I'm looking at federal law that she's violating, and right in some of your notices, we're taking pictures that were in my backyard, which clearly is out of line. So I would like the board to either look at what's going on with the blight officer, because I'm sure with the Facebook page that nobody likes her, I'm not on Facebook, but I hear of. that something's amiss with her and her, I don't know, abuse of authority. And I guess that's, yeah, if you guys could put on, I could get some of the ordinance, I haven't found them on the website yet. I can get back with you before the next meeting on the ones that I would like to see changed, especially about the recreational vehicles. We're in the, I don't know, speed motor capital of the world for boats. Chris Kraft was here, we got Harbor Club, there's nothing but boats. So why should I be limited to 3 boats? If I'm in a boating community, on the river, on the water. I've been here for 48 years. You know, and this, I don't know, the last couple blight officers that you've had are just out of hand on the pettiness. I hear as much as people having water puddle up in their yard and they're getting a citation for it, for a notice. And we've had a ridiculously amount of rain this year, so I don't know. I'm here to see what we can do about the problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Bill Greathouse, 9200 North River Road. Just a quick follow-up to Sheriff King. One of the things he kind of slid over was the Intervention Academy that we have up there at the jail. I say we, I keep talking in those terms because I guess I'm a county resident, but I sat on that Intervention Academy board for 8 years, and there are well over 400 kids that have gotten their GEDs inside the jail and graduated with that. So when they came in, as Sheriff King said, he wants people to go in there and go out better. Those kids went out better with the equivalent of a high school education. And several of them actually got their high school degree through their high school by working in that particular thing there. That's the thing that Sheriff King was talking about. Come in, we're gonna make you better and put you back out there with an opportunity to do something like that. So that's just one more piece of all the pieces. He could talk for hours on end about all the programs and everything that are up there at the jail for people to make them better. This is just one that I happen to be very close to, and I sat on the board, like I said, for 8 years, so congratulations to everybody that, you know, did some of that.
My name's Daniel DeLong. I own the house at 1956. It used to belong to the United Trinity Church in Algonac. I moved to Algonac in 1996. I'm an avid boater. I own property on Russell Island. I own property on Harson's Island. I'm doing the best to keep my yard clean. Any one of you folks want to drive by my house, you're more than welcome. I own the old Englehart house, big 3-story house up there on St. Clair Boulevard. Yes, I know in the past I probably have as much paper as in front of all of you people there from the blight officers. I can't help it. I'm addicted to the water. If you personally know me, you'd say I have water on the brain. That's why I moved to this area. I try to be respectful, but as far as I'm concerned, all the little letters are overboard. If you come to my house, this year I lost my uncle due to COVID, and I lost my mom. She passed away in April. So yes, I understand there's some cars that haven't moved at my house, but my God, they're plated and insured through the state of Michigan. So how can you people supersede that? By the way, I have 2 driveways and a blacktop turnaround that I put in. When I bought that house in 96, it was asbestos sided. I'm doing the best I can. You people might know my wife from Kroger's. We just celebrated 39 years. Our anniversary's Devil's Night. Okay, I moved from 7 in Gratiot. So I've been polite to the lady all I can. Please drive by my house and look. I mean, I don't have no boats in my front yard, but I continue to get letters and everything else. Yes, I have more than 3 boats. Hopefully you don't hang me for it. but I live in the water speed capital of the world. Ain't we supposed to own boats? You people don't like campers apparently. I don't own an RV. I do own a 32-foot Marinette, but it ain't at my house in Algonac, it's at a marina. So I'm doing my best. And I do appreciate our police officers. Without them, we'd be in a hell of a place. So thank you to hear me. Have a good day.
I'm sorry, you said 1956?
St. Clair Boulevard. It's a big 3-story house. I did the tan siding and got new windows. I do the best I can. I've recently had 2 tumors cut out of my back. I've had a hip replacement and then a few 7 vertebrae. I get happiness out of going for a damn boat ride. So, funny as it sounds, I love motorcycles. My wife sitting right there hates both of them. She wishes all the boats would disappear. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Frank, was it?
Yes.
Would you please see the city manager following this meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And,
Mayor Stumper?
yes,
I just wanted to, respond to Mrs. Smith regarding the ordinances and enforcement. This was the perfect time to address enforcement of those ordinances because we have Sheriff Matt King here and I'm sure that he will be happy to pass that information on to his deputies so that we can, increase enforcement of those ordinances that are in place. The other thing that she was talking about was, lack of knowledge amongst our residents. So what we could do as a city is we could, put information about the rules for golf carts on the back of our water bills. So that's a quarterly newsletter that people get. And we can also do periodic Facebook posts reminding people of the rules for both the ATVs and the golf carts. So, that might help to get the word out there.
I have a question. Ain't off-road vehicles supposed to have like headlights and taillights, just like an automobile that's on the road?
can we talk about that after the meeting?
Okay,
Because we don't have a conversation right now.
sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Consent agenda
Oh, that's, okay.
for city
City manager.
City, I would have skipped that. Mrs. Furstenberg, it's city manager report time.
Very short, this evening, Mayor, just another reminder, as usual, to continue to put your yard waste in the paper leaf bags or 30-gallon trash containers. The leaf bag will be out starting November 8th. They will start at the south end of the city, and the last unitary yard waste pickup will be the day after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now it's the consent agenda. Our consent agenda this meeting consists of our city council meeting minutes from our last meeting, October 19th, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. It's passed. No unfinished business, so we'll get right into our new business. We're being asked to adopt an amendment to chapter 44, utilities, article 2, water by revising division 2, cross connections in its entirety. As you recall, this amendment was introduced at our last city council meeting on October 19th. The city of Algonac is required under Public Act 399, Part 14, to initiate a cross-connection control program to identify and eliminate any possible connections that would contaminate the public water system. The residential program consists of inspection of the exterior of the home and periodic testing of backflow prevention assemblies, which are typically found on lawn irrigation systems. To accommodate the cross-connection control program in compliance with EGLE, the city attorney drafted our ordinance. The ordinance amendment establishes the cross-connection program. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to adopt an amendment to chapter 44, utilities, article 2, water, by revising division 2, cross connections, in its entirety as presented.
Support.
Discussion?
Mayor, I think it's very important we get the word out to the citizens on the new rules here. And make sure that they know that we're basically obligated by the state to do this, because there are some serious situations if residents don't comply. And just to eliminate any confusion, we gotta make sure the word gets out what this is all about.
Education.
Education, yes.
Should that
Here
be
to
something
teach
that
you.
would be within the back of the water bill as well, since it's got to do with the
I
water?
would think.
Mrs. Kirstenberg, is that something that we could put on the back of the water bill?
Mayor Stoneberg, it definitely will be on the back of the water bill. The company that will be hired to do, the program, they will be giving letters also to each of the homeowners.
Okay.
Cause it, and I agree with it, but I can see where it would cause, concern with the citizens, section 44, through 42, right of entry, and section 44, 43, discontinuance of service. With the concerns some residents have with light, and then us following that there may be some, pushback, would be the right word?
Well, this is required by the state of Michigan that we do this. We have to let them know about this, and we will in our next item, we'll be talking about establishing the rules and regulations for that. Any other discussion? I just wanna add that this is a residential program. There is already a program in place for businesses. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bendis.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to adopt an amendment to Chapter 44 Utilities, Article 3 Sewer, Division 1 generally by revising Section 68, Authority to establish rules and regulations in its entirety. This amendment was introduced at our last city council meeting on October 19th, 2021. Again, we're required under Public Act 399, Part 14, to initiate a cross-connection control program to identify and eliminate any possible connections that could contaminate the public water system. Improperly installed backflow preventers will require assistance from a licensed plumber to make the necessary improvements. If the backflow preventer is installed properly, it still needs to be tested to ensure it operates according to the manufacturer's specifications. To accommodate the cross-connection control program in compliance with Eagle, the city attorney drafted the ordinance. This ordinance amendment authorizes the city to establish the rules and regulations regarding the cross-connection program. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt an amendment to Chapter 44, Utilities, Article 3 Sewer, Division 1 generally, by revising Section 68, Authority to establish rules and regulation in its entirety as presented.
Support. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bendis.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve an Elginak School Feasibility Study Architectural Services Proposal. The vacant Elginak Elementary School was built several years ago, and it's structurally sound. It has 6,700 square feet building on 3.2 acres, and it's zoned residential. In 2014-15, it was the last operational year for Elginak Elementary School. Approximate annual taxes paid to the city of Elginak is $3,400. The property has been owned by a Georgia nonprofit, National Christian Foundation Real Property Incorporated, since December 2017, and it's currently for sale by a licensed real estate broker. The city administration has had discussions with the real estate agent, the previous owner, and the St. Clair County EDA. There has been some interest in the property, however, it is still for sale after 4 years. No one is more anxious to see this property developed than the city of Elginak. As it sits vacant, it has started to attract trespassers that have caused damage both inside and outside the building. Once a vibrant educational facility, this now vacant building is overwhelmingly noticeable in the heart of the city. Consequently, in order to encourage development, it is proposed that the city hire an architect to do a feasibility study of the property. The study would assess the existing building potential for repurposing, partial demolition, or full demolition. Conceptual plans, graphics, and budgets would be developed to communicate the building and site potential in various configurations. This information may be shared with proposed developers. It'll give the city an opportunity to direct development in a manner that is in the long-term best interest of the city. The proposal would be from George Hartman Architects, who is currently preparing the plans and specifications for the new Algonac Community Swimming Pool. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve Algonac School feasibility study architectural service proposal from George J. Hartman Architects, PC, whose address is 6905 Telegraph Road, Suite 101, Bluefield Hills, Michigan, an amount of $7,500.
Second.
Discussion?
Mayor, if I can?
Yes.
I guess my question, would go to our city manager. The feasibility study, does it say how long the feasibility study is good for? Is it
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
is it something that stays in the books for 2, 3, 4 years? Does it have to be another feasibility study if it doesn't sell in 2 more years or 3 more years?
Mayor Stoneburner, Councilman Blair, no, we wouldn't do one every couple of years.
Okay.
It would be good for indefinitely.
Thank you.
I have a question. Mrs. Gerstenberg, did you ever find out how many police reports were involved in the former elementary school?
I could not give you a number. We did, collect all of the police reports that were available. It wasn't, it was hard to document how many there actually were because people just call in and we don't necessarily have an address to tie their call into.
Should go to the elementary school. If they're complaining about the elementary school, it should go to that when it's being searched.
I can tell you how many that we have that actually has the address of the elementary school. I can get that information for you.
Okay. That'd be nice, thank you.
Anyone else?
I just like to say that, when we did the feasibility study, when we did the visioning study, this was years back, the biggest, I remember we had to put orange dots on a map of where we'd like to see our city developed. And if everybody was there, would remember, the whole pretty much everybody's orange dot was on that school. So if this was what we need to do to try to help that property get developed, I think it's the right thing that we need to do.
Well, and I think coming out of this, we could see if it becomes resident, it's zone residential, and if we use it as, if they develop it as residential properties, how many would fit there? How large could they be? Things like that, so we have an idea. Maybe it needs to be broken up and different things like that. And I think we could see all the potential it has. And as you said, it was a great building when they closed it, and it certainly is not now. And it's becoming a safety issue too. And I think by doing this, it moves us closer to maybe having some developers really be interested in it because they have something concrete to look at then. Or I guess it's not concrete, but a vision of what it could be.
So we could hold the owners accountable too, for whatever happens there.
Anything else?
I know we're spending taxpayer money on, seeing what can be done with somebody else's property. I appreciate that fact. And I just wanna say, because of the importance of what that property is to the city, I do wanna move forward with spending this money. We have to know if it can be used or if it has to be taken down.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarbeck.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve the payment for the building department services. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve for building department construction services and office hours in the amount of $1,842.68 to Tracy Callen Building Official Services for the month of September 2021.
I'll support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve utility building processing, contract. Due to the increasing costs of paper, the city's utility bill vendor, Kent Communications, will be increasing, or Kent Communications Incorporated, will be increasing our processing cost 1 cent per printed statement effective January 1st, 2022. The contract includes an increase in postage of 4 cents. Utility bills are printed and mailed bi-monthly at a rate of $1,110.59. Using a vendor to print and mail the water bills has been beneficial, and the vendor gets a better bulk mail rate than the city does. And this cost would be shared 50% water, 50% sewer. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve utility bill processing contract with KCI, whose address is 3901 East Paris, Southeast Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the amount of $6,663.54, and direct the city manager to sign the contract on behalf of the city.
Second.
Discussion? I do know, with talking with our city treasurer, and I know that very pleased with the vendor. I was looking at their website earlier this week, and I noticed there are several government agencies that do their billing and their mail management services through them. Also, several school systems do it as well. They have a very good reputation, and I know this frees up our small staff to do other things instead of dealing with a printer that won't work or something.
Yes.
And we're saving money on the postage as well, so.
And basically, Mayor, they're just recouping the cost of postage going up, which I kind of know a little bit about, and paper,
Everything's going up.
everything's going up.
Mayor,
Yes,
can I ask you something?
yes.
Do we have an option where they can pick if they just want it to go to their email also right now for our water?
I have an answer for that. You can choose that.
Is it online?
Mhm.
Okay.
When you sign up for the bill pay or and all that, you have that option to not get a printed copy.
Why would you wanna do that? Because it's 2021.
Because I gotta have it done next week.
Watch out. I'm gonna sit here and just
Okay,
keep
Mrs.
these.
Scarback, we'll have a meeting afterwards.
You're getting free haircuts.
That's true.
Retirement will come sooner than you thought.
Oh, jeez. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve accounts payable and payroll. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $167,529.59.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mrs. Kirstenberg, what's on our next agenda?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. For the November 16th meeting, we will be awarding the TV cameraing contract for the SAW grant, considering membership to the EDA, and looking to approve replacement of the membrane filters at the water plant. That's all we have so far.
Thank you. All right, council comment. Councilman Blair.
Good evening, everyone. Sheriff King, Officer Spence, thanks for coming out, spending your time tonight. Appreciate all the information, the hard work you guys do again for the city. Couldn't ask for better support staff on your end as well, and the sheriff's department that we have here. Second off, I want to give a big shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Bembas and Councilman Gillis for following through with your haircut and everything. I mean, it was a big thing to do, or at least I thought it was, so. You guys a lot of kudos, a lot of credit for that, for sure. Money well spent. We also had a trunk or treat, this past weekend on Sunday. I've been to every one that we've had, and this looks like this was the largest one as of yet. Fire Chief Doan was there and did a great job containing the fire. Looked like it was a great night. I don't believe there was any injuries or nobody got hurt. There was a lot of people having a whole lot of fun, and that's always great to see. We had Halloween in the Knack that just passed as well, but I'm sure Mike will probably get in on that. And I just want to congratulate Jake on spearheading this bump and run. It looks like it's really gaining traction. Looks like there's a lot of support for it. I want to say job well done on that, and wish you best of luck on hoping it's a great success.
Thank you.
Besides that, hope everybody has a great night. Thank you ladies for coming out and doing a wonderful job on their hair. Appreciate that as well. And again, have a great night.
All right. Councilman Gillis.
I'd also like to thank our Sheriff King and Deputy Spence for everything service you provide our community. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to all the citizens who donated to make sure that I had the most expensive haircut I've ever received. $5,000 haircut right here. I don't know how much we have to tip the girls, but Halloween, great event. Yes. Oh my gosh, that night at Trunk or Treat, I mean, I always joke, we buy extra candy for the people who come the first year. Because I have to walk up, this year I had a 5-gallon tote full of candy, and it's all gone. Cause I have to walk up and down and go, you still need candy? Are you running out? Yes, I'm running out, please, more candy. We had to have over 1,000 kids there, I would think. It was crazy, but great night. I'd also like to congratulate or thank Councilman Scarbuck for all the hard work he's putting in. I drove by the Smithfield today twice, and that man's been there. I think probably put in like 10 hours there today, something.
I started at 11:30. I wouldn't say no 10 hours.
Oh, whatever. Well, I don't get out of bed till 10, so.
Fair enough.
But no, but you really are working hard, and it looks like everything's coming together, so I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for your contributions. The front park is gonna look beautiful. Thank you to the ladies who come and take your time out this evening and cut our hair. It's gonna be hard to top this in the future, but we got some big projects we do wanna work on, like raising funds for a pool that is gonna be replaced. So I'm gonna be obsessing about that. My wife says I have a little bit of OCD. I tell her it should be CDO because that's alphabetically correct. But thank you everybody for contributing. This is a small little community. Sometimes we have our ups and downs, but we get together really well. Corey's right. I could tell Halloween night, everybody left trunk or treating when they were done there, and they just came down St. Clair River Drive. We have more kids than I've seen in years. Coming down that street and dressed up, and families dressed up. It was nice seeing people out. Halloween in the Knack, biggest crowds ever, a lot of fun. Next year, we want to add some events for adults and teenagers. If you belong to a group that wants to get involved, maybe raise some money for your cause, or just have a good time and give back to the community, please get in touch with me so we can add you in there and see what we can do. And Jake, I'm really impressed with what you're doing on that. That's a big responsibility you've taken on, and wow. That's all I'm gonna say is wow. Good job.
Okay. Councilman Martin.
I also want to thank the sheriff and the department for the service they provide to all of us in our community and to our county. We get a great job done by our sheriff's department, and thank you. Congratulations on job well done to Mike and Rocky, and welcome to my world. you'll appreciate your hat more. And I'm very curious as to how this is gonna go on
I'll explain it.
Saturday. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. And only hearing about it and not seeing, I'll be interested. Good.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Harris?
I also wanna thank Sheriff King and all the staff of the Sheriff's Department. I couldn't be happier with the services that we get from you guys. Thank everyone for coming. Thank you, Rocky and Mike, for everything, and Jake, I'll be helping you out this weekend. Congratulations on everything, it's gonna come off great. Thank you.
Councilman Scarpet?
I wanna thank the sheriff department for everything they do for this community. They're an awesome addition. I wanna say congratulations on raising your money, and I will shave my head too next year for 25 grand, not a dime less. One thing I wanna talk about before we talk about the Derby is I think next year as a community, we should move the Algonac, Halloween to the last Saturday of the month. And, I mean, we can talk about this later, but the only reason I think we should consider this is because last year on Saturday, last year when we had it on Saturday, the turnout was amazing. And not saying it wasn't this year, but I think, it's a bigger event in the community when it's on Saturday. So something to think about. And also, this weekend, we're having the Algonac Derby. It's gonna be our first annual. We started setting up this week. I mean, it looks a little rough right now, but it won't look like that on Friday. We started setting up the Derby pit today. Everything else is coming in on Thursday. So it's gonna be $15 at the door. We have a pit bike race on Friday, and then Saturday we have a bump and run, and now we have a demolition derby. One of the communities in our area, they had to cancel theirs last weekend, so now they're coming to ours. So we have demolition derby, a bump and run, and then Jen John, the human firecracker, he's gonna be there after for the grand finale.
Joe, you're gonna be there, right?
The whole time. We got some good bands there, so come on out if you guys are bored, and this should be fun. Thank you guys for all coming. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
And I do wanna thank the Lions Club for helping out with the beer time. They have been huge, tremendous help for us, and I wanna thank all our sponsors, because without our sponsors, this would not be happening. So thank you all. Have a good night.
All right, we had a great trunk or treat, and, usually we have Halloween on Halloween, so I don't know. Saturdays is nice, but we've done that, so I don't know, we'll
Just a thought.
yeah, I know. And it'll be a school night next year. Well, it was a school night this year, but it wasn't, it'll be on a Monday. And so we can't change the calendar, but we'll see, stranger things have happened, just look, The bonfire was humongous. It looked small, but it was huge. It went as high as it could go without the wind blowing it totally over. It was great. Want to thank the Rotary for all they did, and Henry's Club for helping serve. All the participants that were there that didn't hand out things on their own porch stuff, they were there with us, and it is. You're just amazed at how many kids go by, and then there's some that go by, and I don't think they realize you notice the costume, and they go by again, and then they go by again, and it was like that, and that's okay. We all did that, I think, at some point in our lives, but it was really, really great. Want to remind you the next big thing after Bump and Run, I think, other than the Lions winning Thanksgiving. I don't know. We're having a lighted Christmas parade this year again. We're going to have the same format that we had, or similar format that we had last year, where the participants in the parade will be parking their vehicles or whatever they have on the side of the road, and people will drive by or walk by to view the parade. They will do the moving, and that's on December 4th. So if you have a golf cart, motorcycle, whatever you want to decorate, bring it up and join us up there. We had a lot of fun last year. And meeting at 5:30 in Smithfield area, behind the Dairy Queen, and then you'll be told what position to get in, or we'll just line up and just get in our positions. And it's a fun night, dress warm, even if it's not cold out, you're gonna get cold standing on the pavement. But anyway, it's a fun time, so please join us for that. And Santa will be there to take letters from the kids. And the letters will be answered by Santa and will be sent back to you, or sent back to the child, so put an address on there. Thank you to Ann and Marie for coming this evening. This is great. I'm so glad you were part of this. Algonac Alive is an organization that I belong to, and there's several people in this audience that belong to, and it's amazing what our members will do for anything, you know. Never, I'm not gonna.
For 50 grand?
No. And Sheriff King, Deputy Spence, it's great having you here. Always like listening to your report, but that handout that you gave us, I like seeing everything in one spot there. And then just add the intervention center as one of the things that you have there.
It's on the brochure.
Yeah. But it's amazing all that you do, and you read about each one of those things individually, but you don't think of the whole package together. And I do appreciate that you care for your employees too, as well as the inmates and the community. I think that's very important and can't be overlooked, especially today.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. And, with the golf carts, for the parade, I'm gonna go back to that parade, it's a lighted parade, but it starts after dark. You do need lights on your golf cart if you're driving at night, or whatever you're driving, you need to have lights on. It's a given, so please do that. And with that, Councilman Blair.
Yes, before I adjourn, I do wanna touch on one thing, like you said, I forgot to thank the Rotary. They must have gave out 500 hot dogs for free, that was on them, that was another great thing that our community gets to enjoy is the gifts of people and corporations or nonprofits. Thank you, nonprofits like the Rotary, and I know Henry's Club was in there as well, putting their hands in and trying to do what we could for the community. So again, just fabulous, and I wanted to make sure they were noticed on that. Thank you. And with that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.